To join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
She has to hold off for a
To the
second.
flag of the United States of
United States of
America,
America,
United States of America,
to
to
the
the republic
republic
which
which
stands,
which
stands
is
one
one
nation,
one nation,
under
one
God,
nation,
under
under
indivisible,
God,
with
indivisible,
liberty and
indivisible,
justice
justice
for
liberty,
all.
justice
and
for all.
justice for all. I don't know that we were very much in sync there, and I take the responsibility for that one. Take a moment to wish everybody a happy new year 2021. I know that we all have high hopes. It's been a very difficult 2020, and 2021 is getting off to a start that may be increasing everyone's anxiety. And to that end, I would say that, you know, we are very fortunate to have this great community and rely on each other, and let's do our best to try to work together. And we have so much more in common with each other than we have that separates us. Okay. For the folks at home, let's take a look at tonight's agenda. Okay. Very good. Here we go. It's the first meeting of the year. The first item obviously will be annual reorganization. It generally takes us a few meetings before we get through all of our committees and boards and appointments, consultants, and so on and so forth. That'll be the first item on the agenda. We are going to make some awards and appointments tonight. The second item in the agenda is to award the bid for the highway garage solar. As we've reminded folks previously, we received some grant monies. We were awarded $100,000 to be spread over 4 separate projects to go towards energy efficiency and renewable energy objectives in our community, and this is one of them. So we will be installing solar on the highway garage sometime this spring, and so we'll be awarding tonight. We're going to be appointing town engineers. We have typically had more than one engineering firm, and tonight we'll be appointing a couple, and we may even have more in the future. We have our annual agreement to expend funds for highway construction purposes. It's a little different this year. We're not quite sure what the state is going to give us in terms of funding. So we'll be starting out with a small amount. And then once the state's budget is in place, we'll have a better idea of how much funding and how many projects we can do. We have a resolution to approve an inter-municipal agreement with the Village of Tivoli on the building department. We do need to do some hiring in our building department. So, okay, very good. So why don't we jump now to, since it is the first meeting of the month, we typically do an update of the finances. Your monies. And this is for the period. This is the supervisor's report for the last month of December. It'll be revised as we get some accruals in. But for the period December 1st to December 31st.
Robert, are you, you're not sharing. Do you want it to be showing?
There we go. Let me know when it's up on your screen for you. There we go. Thanks, Christine.
Yep.
Okay, so we started the month with an opening balance of $5,221,000 and change. We had receipts of $684,000, disbursements of $428,000, with a remaining balance of $5,476,424. You have in your packet the various reports. We're going to get to the clerk's report in a minute, but suffice it to say that as we approach the end of the year, we've seen a rebound in some of our revenue lines, and in others they haven't moved hardly at all. A lot of it is COVID related. We're seeing higher A fund revenues with mortgage tax, somewhat of a rebound in B fund sales tax, although we're expecting that to drop off quite substantially as we're getting reports of businesses seeing very large declines in sales activity in the wintertime. So that's what we have for our financials. There are no budget adjustments proposed yet. You'll get those in ensuing meetings. Are there any questions about the supervisor's report? Okay, if not, is there a motion to accept?
So move.
Thank you, Bill. Is there a
Second.
second? Thank you, Christine. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Clerk's report. Deanna, would you be kind enough to give us a brief synopsis?
Okay, town clerk's report for the period of December 1st to December 31st, 2020. Total local shares remitted to the supervisor, $5,192, of which $4,074 was money collected for garbage at the recycling center. Amount paid to New York State Agriculture and Markets was $58. Amount paid to New York State Department of Health for marriage licenses, $135. And the total state, county, and local revenues, $5,385.
Very good. Thank you, Deanna. Is there a motion to accept the clerk's report?
So
So
moved.
move.
Okay, I think that was Bill Hamel and then Christine Kane for a second. Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, announcements. Let's start with a COVID report. I wish we had better news. In fact, these numbers relate to the other day. We've had an update since. The number of COVID cases in Dutchess County has increased almost tenfold in less than 2 months. If you look at late November versus January here, we've gone from 200 plus active cases to now over 2,000 cases in the town of Red Hook, including villages. As of a report today, we have 69 confirmed cases. And just to give you some sort of comparison, we spent most of the spring and summer with under 5 cases in the township. It's quite possible that the numbers are significantly higher than that as community spread takes place. So once again, we would encourage everyone to take whatever actions they can to protect themselves and their neighbors as the vaccine begins to be rolled out in our community. And I will share with you some information about where we are now. As of yesterday, January 11th, New York State moved into phase 1B. There is a list of eligible groups in 1B that can receive their first installation of the vaccine. Today, both the federal government and New York State included in that grouping not only people who are 75 or older, but now people who are 65 and older. There are some nearby vaccination locations listed here. We will remind you, however, that you want to contact the state online or this telephone number here, and we have, I think, that information already on the town website to make your appointment. Be patient, obviously, because they're getting inundated for requests. there's more folks who want to get the vaccine than there are locations and inventory to deliver those vaccines right now. We hope that there will be a continuation of ramping up as changes in policies and procedures occur. So here again is a more detailed list for the folks at home. In essence, anybody now 65 and over, or many individuals who engage with the public, first responders, the police, those who work in the jails, those who work in grocery stores, and the like, public transit, education workers. So we have a fairly extensive list on the town's website. New York State Department of Health is where you want to check in to find out more and more information. There is not a vaccination site in the town of Red Hook at the moment. We hope that changes sometime soon, especially when they employ some of our pharmacies. We hope that we start to see that in the next few weeks. It's estimated that it can take up to 3 months for all of these individuals, and this is a few million individuals in New York State who fall within these categories, to be fully vaccinated. But obviously we hope that gets accelerated as they look to perhaps release all of the vaccines for the first shot, and then order more for the second shot. So that's the COVID update and vaccination update. As far as other announcements, I don't have any other except to just update you. We spoke at our last meeting about the rollout of the town streetlight conversion program, and I'm happy to tell you that it is essentially complete. All of the existing streetlights have been switched over to LEDs. You may have noticed that. Or you may not have noticed it, which is also a good thing. The only stretch that hasn't been done yet is the new lights, which are being constructed on the east side of Route 9, essentially from Dunkin' Donuts all the way down to Savona's. You may have noticed that there are few, if any, streetlights along that stretch. So that's being added. And we'll have more updates on that project at our next meeting. Okay, very good. Public comment. We did have one message from Linda Keeling, and Linda Keeling would like a couple things recorded for the meeting, which is she would like to reestablish the St. Margaret's Home Committee. The vacant building needs a use, and that is an objective of this board for this year, is to put St. Margaret's back into action in 2021. So hopefully we'll have more on that in the next couple of meetings. Who is the ADA ombudsman for the town, receiving complaints and indicate their qualifications. We don't have somebody necessarily qualified at this moment, but we'll work on that. But we do consult our engineers whenever we need to address ADA accessibility, asking about records management, and also a question about when town hall will open to the public. I think the answer is when we have made it through this pandemic. We don't intend to put the general public or employees at risk by opening it to the public. We have changed our procedures here in order to try to adjust to the pandemic as best as we can. Again, reminding folks at home that now you can pay your taxes online and your water bills online. There are convenience fees, so we ask you to please check that out. Depending upon the method of payment, obviously credit card is much higher than if you were using electronic check. But there are details on that'll be going on our website. And if you have any questions, I would encourage you to contact Deanna Cochran, our town clerk and tax receiver and water rents collector, and she can answer those for you. Okay, and then when will rec parks be reopened was another question, and the answer to that is that the rec parks were open for many months this year. They are closed again for the winter time, as we typically close them each year. Rec Park West remains open for those who want to hike and snowshoe. So we encourage you to take advantage of that facility. Okay, let's jump into reorganization. If we could, we have our annual reorg resolution that our attorney to the town has prepared for us. It would be necessarily resolution number 1 of 2021. And essentially it lays out some of the basics for the town of Red Hook when we meet. Currently we meet on the second Tuesday and the fourth Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. The official newspaper is, in fact, the Poughkeepsie Journal. We conduct business with these financial institutions. Here are the salaries laid out for your elected officials, if you ever wanted to know how much these individuals make in service to you. Mileage reimbursement whenever they have to conduct a business for the town with their own vehicles. Undertaking, check signing. We have various policies that we review each and every year. Procurement, investment, ethics, and fund balance are just some of those. Are there any questions from the town board on resolution number 1?
So move.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Christine. All in favor, Jacob?
Aye.
Bill Hamel?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Okay, that's the first item on the agenda, was the resolution. Now we have appointments, and some of those appointments will now update this draft. But let's go through, let's see how much we can get through tonight on some of these and changes that we need to make. You have this in your packet. I believe it's a current up-to-date list. The depositories are correct.
Except Tudsey.
Yeah, so we'll get to that one. Yeah, unfortunately, we do have to make that change. Emergency interim successors, I think we've got that right. We have all our receiver of taxes and statistics, all the various jobs that Deanna is now doing. Assessor, building inspector. We're going to be making a hire soon in the building department. Municipal code enforcement inspector, Bob Fennell. Director of purchasing, at this point, I think we should eliminate that as a position. Matt and I have taken over those responsibilities, as is customary, oftentimes in small towns. So let's make that change. Animal control officer, we've renewed our contract with Dutchess County SPCA. Our court clerks, buildings and grounds, that all remains the same. Attorneys for the town.
Change your title, right?
I think.
The law firm's title, is that?
I think that's up to date, Bill.
Okay.
Yeah, or is it going to change pretty soon again, Christine? Chris Shaw, is that going to change again soon?
No. George is retired now, but he's,
Okay.
as retired, we still have the same name, so.
Okay. We'll update the town engineers. We have a resolution to appoint town engineers, so we'll update that once we take up that resolution. Deputy supervisor remains as Bill O'Neill. I am the budget officer, as is customary with the town supervisor. Secretary, Matt Fenaroli, our historian, our assistant historian, all are the same. Deputy town clerk, registrar of vital statistics and receiver of taxes, Jackie Fenaroli, in an interim position. We appreciate her help. We have a change, and we'd welcome and congratulate Ricky Schlomer on his retirement as the Deputy Superintendent of Highways. And we congratulate John Gardenier with his appointment to that position. So we should make that change on the document. Highway Secretary remains, Assistant Budget Officer remains, Bookkeeper remains. I see no changes with the folks at the Recycling Center, and want to again thank them for really the great work they're doing during this difficult time. We want to remind the folks at home that we've made a change. If you are not aware of it, we are no longer charging to use the facility. And that facility belongs to all of the residents of the town of Red Hook, inclusive of the villages as well. You will still have to pay for garbage, based upon your usage, the bags or otherwise. But everyone is welcome to use the facility. When COVID settles down, you're going to receive a 2021 sticker. And that's, upon proof of residency. And we, if you'd like to reach out to the town clerk's office, we can send you one of those. But just know that we will, when things settle down, give it to everyone so they can access that facility. Okay, maintenance and groundskeepers, that all is the same. They're doing a terrific job. We appreciate that. Recreation Park, John Kuhn and his staff are just doing a wonderful job on not only the rec parks, but the Red Church Cemetery property, and maintaining St. Margaret's for us. Water District meter readers, I believe that list is current and accurate, but let's check with Hank Van Paris on that. Our consultants, all of our consultants remain the same as of now. So at the moment, with those changes, I would go ahead and make a motion that we accept all of those appointments up and through the police and court attendance. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill O'Neill. All in favor, Bill Hamill.
Aye.
Christine Kane.
Aye.
Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Very good. Here we are with meetings. Again, the meeting schedule. A couple of our committees and commissions have annual meeting reports as well as monthly meeting reports. If you've ever wondered how the organizational responsibility works in the town, there is the sequence that matters. Mileage, the IRS mileage for 2021 is 56 cents a mile, so we should make that change if we could, Deanna. On the draft, town departments, there's the chain of command there. So liaisons to town departments, do we want to entertain some changes there? To my fellow town board members, are there any departments that you are liaison to that you would either like to switch, or are there ones that you would like to take over at this point? Okay.
Fine with it.
You're fine with that? Okay with this list? Okay. So why don't we keep it as it is? If you have any suggested changes, please do let us know. Okay, board and committee liaisons, and here are our boards and committees. To that end, there was some talk at a previous meeting about starting an arts and culture committee, and that's something that I think we will entertain again in the springtime when it's possible to have in-person meetings, we hope. And we would certainly solicit any interest or letters of interest from folks who would want to join that board. But right now, I think we want to focus on making sure our existing committees are populated. Here again on these committees and boards, are there any changes? Ag and open space, Bill O'Neill?
No?
You're good. So you're good sticking with that?
Yep.
Okay, I'll stick with the bar. Board of Ethics, Jacob? Good
Yep.
with that? Okay, I think, Jacob, maybe we could see if we can get a meeting going together.
Yeah.
We had the resignation of Fred Cartier as the chair. We would probably look to, ensure that we get another member of that board sometime soon. And then we could do some ethics training. I think it's always important to make sure that we're doing that each and every year.
Definitely
So
agree.
can we task you with that if we could?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Christine, CPF PDR Advisory Committee, you're good
Yep.
with that?
Yep.
Okay, Communications Committee. I would be happy if somebody wanted to take that one. Is there an interest there? I notice it hasn't matched up well with the evening meeting schedule. Okay, I think it looks like I'm stuck with that one.
Well, when do they typically meet? What's the what is the
I think Sarah spoke to that, the possibility of continuing, but maybe you want to get with them and see if we can come up with something that works. You have interest in that, Jacob?
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Wonderful. Okay, so we can make that change. All right, Complete Streets is another committee we want to get up and running, so I will take that to task for in the next month that we can get that populated and up and running. CAC, Jacob, you're good with that?
Yes.
Design Review, Hamlet, Bill O'Neill.
Yeah.
Disaster Preparedness, yes, I'll stick with that. EDC, Jacob, you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, Energy Committee, I'm fine with that. There we go with Ethics Board again. Greenway and Trails, Christine?
Yes.
Okay. LWRP, the two of you, Bill O'Neill and Christine.
Yeah, we're good.
You're good
Yep.
with that? I'm wondering, while we're on the topic, you filed with DOS a first draft of, I want to say phase 1, 2, but that's not what it is, chapter 1 or 2. Christine, is that correct?
Yeah, we have the first part all submitted for review.
Okay. Is that something you think we're ready to maybe present to the town board? Just a couple of highlights of what those chapters entail, or would you like to wait and get some feedback?
I think we were going to wait just to see what kind of feedback we get to see if we need to make any. Hopefully, won't have to make a lot of changes, but if we do, then we might as well do them before we present it.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Planning Board, you're okay with that, Christine, as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Recreation Commission, fine, sticking with that with you, Christine. Red Church Cemetery, Bill?
Yep, it's okay.
Okay, doing a wonderful job there, everyone. Senior Services Committee, it'd be nice to get that one up and running. It's been a bit of a challenge during COVID, but they've done a wonderful job. Many members were involved early on with calling our 70 and over population, and we thank them very much for that. Let's see if we can get that up and running with the help of Ann Rubin there. Okay. Sister Cities Working Group is dormant at this time, but it would be nice to get that up and running. Tree Preservation, Jacob?
Yes.
Okay. Water District Advisory Board, Bill?
I'm fine.
Yeah, that's your ballywick. Okay. ZBA and Zoning Review. So ZBA, Bill O'Neill, you're okay
Yeah,
with that?
that's good.
Okay. And ZRC, maybe we can get that up and running. Let's see if
Yeah,
we've got
okay.
if we've got a task for them that we can do.
Okay.
Okay, so a motion to approve the liaisons to the various departments and also to the boards and committees, and I so move. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Christine. All in favor, Bill O'Neill,
Yes.
Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Jacob.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, I don't know how far we're going to get through our committees and boards. We do have some correspondence from them, but we haven't heard back from many of them. But I would like to take us, for the folks at home, I apologize, what you're looking through is the membership of the various committees, which is an opportunity for me to say, if you are interested in joining one of the town's committees or boards, please do send an email of interest to the town clerk. That's townclerk@redhook.org. But I do want to direct your attention, town board members, to the planning board in particular, because we want to make sure that they have enough members to not have any quorum issues. We've had a couple of resignations due to personal commitments. And so we do have a letter of interest from Karen Smythe and a recommendation from the chair, Sam Phelan, to appoint Karen to the planning board. And we have several openings, as you can see. And my recommendation would be that we consider appointing her to the position with the vacancy that ends in the year 2025. Does that make sense?
Is there a reason the 2025 rather than the 2026?
Yeah.
Oh, we could do the 2026. That's fine.
I think I'd prefer to do that.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
Okay.
So we should also.
Would somebody like to make that motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay.
Do we need to reappoint Sam?
Yes, we will.
Do you want to do that tonight or no?
Well, let's take it. We're going to reappoint Brian Kelly, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so Brian Kelly's the one that's up. Sam himself is not up. It's his
Just as chairman. Yeah. just for chairman.
Chairperson. Chairpersonship. Okay, so we have a motion to appoint Karen Smythe to the term ending in 2026. We have that motion by Christine. Is that correct? Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jacob. Okay, all in favor, Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Bill O'Neill,
Aye.
myself, aye. Welcome, Karen. Thank you. We appreciate your taking out your time to do this important position. Okay. It would seem to suggest that we need to reappoint Brian Kelly as well. So I would like to make that motion that we reappoint Brian Kelly to a term ending in 2027. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Christine. All in favor of Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Bill O'Neill,
Aye.
Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Appointing chairs. We don't have anybody at this time who could do the chairperson job, with the exception of Sam Phelan. He's the only one really with the experience and time to do that. And so at this time, I would make a motion that we continue to do that for 1 year, though we have talked about wanting to have some rotation in the chairpersons of these various committees and boards. And so I would look for us in 2022 to perhaps take a look at, whether or not we have an opportunity to accommodate that. But for 2021, I would like to make a motion that we reappoint Sam Phelan as the chairperson of the planning board.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Christine. Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Okay, Bill O'Neill.
Aye.
Okay, Jacob Testa.
Aye.
All in favor. Thank you very much. And then just let's look at our zoning board, if we would, as well. Those boards need to have, well, we don't have it here in this sheet. Okay. Come through on the digital copy.
What zoning boards you talking about? The ZBA?
On the ZBA, yeah. So,
There,
in the- sorry,
at the end of it.
it's on there. It didn't quite make it there, Bill. It didn't make it in the digital copy.
There it is. I'm looking at the one that Matt sent around on the computer.
Yeah, not here yet, but okay. So for zoning board, we have 5 members. The term that is up is Nick Annis. In 2020, I have not spoken to Nick, but let's go ahead and reappoint him. And then if he does not want to continue, he can let us know that, because we need to make sure that he is available to conduct business. So I'd like to make the motion that we reappoint Nick Annis to the Zoning Board of Appeals. It would be for a 5-year term ending in 2025. Is there a second on that motion? Okay,
Second.
thank you, O'Neill. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Jacob Testa,
Aye.
Christine Kane.
Aye.
Okay, very good. And myself, aye. As far as the chairpersonship, let's take that up at the next meeting, if we would, please. And Nick is a carryover in that position until such time. Okay, let's look through our correspondence. Are there any other committees, town board members? Could I ask you to take a look at your correspondence from the committees that you are the liaison for, and see if there's any members that you would like to go ahead and appoint? In particular, I know that we had a letter of interest, Bill O'Neill, for the inter-municipal task force.
Right.
11 members. Unlike many of our committees, this task force has designated representation from the various municipalities, hence the name Inter-Municipal Task Force. They're 1-year appointments. We do, however, and Bill does, however, encourage people to participate, even if they are not task force members. It all helps the process. We do have a letter of interest from Kim Gomez. She would be interested in joining the ITF. For the folks at home, Kim has been the executive director of the Red Hook Chamber. And I see that the position that she could qualify for, and only really one position, would be the community resident position. And I think that's been held by Dominic Tampone for the last few years. It's a good idea to rotate that position as well. Your thoughts on that, Bill? Whether or not?
Yeah, I would request that she be appointed to that spot.
Okay. All right. So
That's my motion. Whatever.
That's a motion. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, Bill Hamel.
Aye.
Jacob Testa.
Aye.
And myself, aye.
The only other
Jacob?
question I have, Robert, is that Chris Close has been on the task force for years. I'm not sure why he's not listed here.
Chris has been as a representative from the EDC, but that is actually not a statutory member of that task force, the EDC. When the task force was constructed way back when in 2004, it needed to have representation from the various municipalities. It was spelled out: planning board, villages, CAC, ZBA. But but there isn't a representative from the EDC. So Chris continues to participate, and he could, in theory, be the ZBA representative, although Nick Annis is filling that role right now. So, did that answer your question, Bill?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And I'll point out that I'm no longer on the planning board.
Right. So we'll make that change as well. If we could, you'll be the town board representative.
That would be great.
Okay, in other correspondence that you have, folks, is there anyone that you would like to appoint tonight? The EDC, Jacob, we have a letter of interest from Paul
Starts.
Sturts.
Yes.
And Paul is a very new resident and comes to us with an interesting position. He is one of the co-directors of the Upstate Films movie theater. And do you have a recommendation for the board, Jacob, on that?
There's a recommendation from the EDC that he be appointed to one of the vacancies. So I'd like to go ahead and move to do so.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and I would, so we've got a lot of positions in that committee that need re-upping.
We have one vacancy. Oh, no, that was vacant as of 2020, I guess.
Right, so now we can appoint to that vacancy, that's fine. So why
There's
don't
a second, the vacancy for George Verrilli will no longer be, and neither will Richard Wambach.
Right. So we could appoint Paul to a term ending 2021 or 2022.
It's a 2-year appointment, so we should do 2022.
Let's do that then. So why don't we give that spot that's listed as vacant to Paul? Shall we?
Have we canvassed the other members?
We have some correspondence back on that, I think, don't we, Jacob?
Yeah, we have a recommendation from Christina on behalf of the EDC.
Okay.
Right, so they have a couple of resignations.
Okay.
And
So-
I think also she recommended Vanessa be reappointed, right, Jacob?
Yes, I believe so. Let me
Okay.
check. Yeah.
Okay. So let's you want to put it all together in one motion, Jacob? So
Yes. So to remove George and Richard and to add Paul to the vacancy for the term ending in 2022.
okay. And Vanessa
And then Vanessa as well.
to
It
renew.
looks like, so on here, what we're looking at right now, it looks like it's a little bit out of date, but I think that Vanessa should be renewed as well. Is that where we're at?
That's right.
Yes.
2022.
And then
Dan Budd.
for,
And Bud,
Dan
Yeah.
Budd 2022, Chris Close 2021, Marty 2022, Amanda 2021,
and then Christina is the chair for 2022.
and the Christina as the chair. That's all chairpersons are for 1-year
Or
term.
1 year, sorry,
Mhm.
2021 then.
So reappointing her as the chair. You want to put that all together in one motion, Jacob?
Yes, all of that we just said in one motion.
Okay, very good. I'll second that motion. Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Bill O'Neill,
Aye. Christine
Kane.
aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that does wonders for EDC. I can do Energy Committee. That's a pretty quick one. We can they're 2-year appointments. They're not staggered at the moment. They probably should be at some point. But we can take all of these members: Dennis Colley, Jen Kavanaugh, Laurie Eusted, Paul Cadden-Zemansky, and Dan Smith into one motion to reappoint them for the 2-year terms ending in 2022. I just want to say proudly that they're doing such a terrific job, whether it's our streetlights or highway garage solar.
And
they just
do you
keep
also
performing.
want that to include reappointing Dennis for a chair?
Yes, for the period ending 2021. Yes.
Okay.
And that would be my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thanks, Bill Hamel. And Jacob Testa,
Aye.
Christine Kane,
Aye.
and Bill O'Neill.
Aye.
On ethics, can we have a current we have a current list right now. Let's Jacob, let's review with those members and see where we stand with that committee.
Yes.
Okay. I'm jumping around a little bit. I apologize. We'll need another member for the assessment review board. And so I'll endeavor to reach out to folks to see if we can populate that. Did we get any correspondence, Christine, on the CPF PDR advisory committee?
No.
Okay. And then Jacob, you're going to touch base on communications. I'll work on complete streets. CAC, do we have anything from CAC? Jacob?
Yeah, I think we had everybody re-upped, and I'm trying to
Okay.
see where that is on here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
seeing.
yeah,
I think that everybody would like to remain, is my understanding.
Okay.
In conversation, it seems like everybody's happy to remain, but I don't know if I see any actual correspondence.
Okay.
Scrolling through.
All right. Would you like to wait on that till the next meeting then, Jacob?
Yeah, I think we could.
Okay. Let's ask Lori to come back to us. Design review Hamlet. We did get correspondence on that one, Bill O'Neill. It looks like everybody wants to remain, if I have that correct.
Mhm.
Okay. So that means reappointing Chris Gilbert for a term ending in 2022. Emily Major, our town historian, to 2022. Jeff Carter and Tiffany are current, so we don't need to reappoint them. We do have a vacancy there. And make a motion to reappoint Chris Gilbert as the chairperson of that committee. And I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Christine Kane?
Aye.
Okay. Jacob Testa?
Aye.
Bill Hamel?
Aye.
Thanks very much. We did get some correspondence on the Disaster Preparedness Committee, and I'm not sure I'm able to look at
John
that.
Gomez said yes.
Right. So we've got John Gomez for a term ending in 2022. Everybody else, well, we have our highway superintendent, Teresa Burke. Obviously, we hope and want her to remain on the DPC. That's an important role. But let's check in with her and make sure that that's her wish. Red Hook Central School District Rep Perry Sheldon can remain. Rich Hillbrandt, we'll check in with him. So for today, let's just do Perry Sheldon 2022, John Gomez 2022, and reappoint Haiping Ye as the chairperson. Haiping has done a wonderful job throughout this pandemic organizing volunteers to help some of the most vulnerable in our community. So we want to thank her for her service. So that's my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Christine. Bill O'Neill,
Aye.
Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Jacob Testa. Thank you very
Aye.
much. All right, we're actually getting through more of this than I thought we would. Greenway and Trails Committee. Did we get any correspondence there?
Nothing
Okay.
we can move forward with.
Okay. LWRP, Christine, what do you want to tell us about that? Everybody seems to be
I think we're
current
good.
except for the
Yeah, I think
chair.
we're good to go.
Okay, very good. And we took care of planning board. We took care of recreation commission. Did we get anything back from rec committee?
Not yet.
Okay, well, we do need to reappoint Doug Storwinski since he is the chair of that as well. And, I'd like to do that tonight so we can have him in place to run the next meeting. So I'd make a motion to reappoint Doug Storwinski for a term ending in 2022.
Second.
And also as the chairman.
All right,
Okay.
second.
For 1 year. Thank you, Christine. Bill O'Neill,
Aye.
Bill Hamel,
Aye.
and Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Okay, Bill O'Neill, Red Church Cemetery Committee.
It's all good.
You're all good. We just have to reappoint you as the chair of that committee.
Except McCann, she should be replaced by Deanna, right?
Okay. Deanna, are you willing to join this committee that meets once in a while to go over things involved with the Red Church Cemetery?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So we'll make that appointment. Keep the same position, 2021. Thank you, Deanna. Okay. And Bill, as part of that same motion, can we make you the chair again for another year?
Sure.
Okay. Thanks very much. So I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Christine Kane got in there. Bill Hamel.
Aye.
Okay. Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Very good. Okay. St. Margaret's Committee. We're going to be working on that. Senior Services, Sister Cities. I think we did get something back from tree preservation, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right, Jacob?
Yes, everybody's willing to continue on that committee. I don't have that page, but we can.
Okay. So
approve
on tree
whoever is up.
yeah. So the individuals who are up are Karen Cataret, Doug Trout, Kathy Michael, and George Michael, and they've done an excellent job. I'd like to make a motion we reappoint all four of them, excuse me, to terms ending in 2022. And included in that to reappoint Kathy as the chair of the commission. And do I hear a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay. Very good. Bill O'Neill,
Aye.
Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Christine Kane.
Aye.
Very good. Did we get any correspondence on the water board, Bill Hamel?
Due to the ongoing issues with my lack of town email,
Okay.
I have not been able to do that. I can give Hank a call
Okay.
tomorrow and see where everybody stands, but until I get that email situation resolved, it's making it a little difficult.
And so what I'm going to suggest then with the water board, since they have to continue to operate, they will operate in a holdover position. That's fine. Why don't we go ahead, however, and reappoint Hank Van Paris as the chair of the water board, and that would be again an annual term ending in 2021. Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Okay, thanks, Bill Hamel. Jacob Testa,
Aye.
Christine Kane,
Aye.
Bill O'Neill.
Aye.
Okay, I think that completes tonight's work on boards and committees. It was very good. I think we got through a lot more than I had hoped for. And again, want to thank all of our volunteers. Small towns, communities like ours really run in large part because of the volunteers, our excellent employees. We can't do it without you. If you are interested, it's a great way to not only give back to your community, but to meet some terrific people, albeit right now with COVID, that's very difficult to really engage with some of your colleagues. Okay, let's move on to the second item on the agenda, and that's a resolution to award for the highway solar project. Before we do that, can we go ahead and designate, we're going to have a remote association of towns continuing education for the folks at home. Your elected officials have education courses that they take. Typically happens at conferences where they can share ideas and experiences with their colleagues in similar positions. Due to COVID, it won't be in person this year. It takes place in February around President's Weekend. And there is a designated representative for that meeting. And I would ask that you name me as the delegate, as is customary for that. And it will happen remotely, as I said before. Would somebody like to make that
So moved.
a resolution? Okay.
Second,
Okay. Bill Hamel and Bill O'Neill, and then Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Okay. Christine Kane.
Aye.
Aye. And myself, aye. Okay. And this way we all can join remotely. That's really great. Here are some of the things for the folks at home. We'll share the screen. Here are some of the things that the Association of Town will be advocating for. One of the topics is cannabis. As you know, there's been a growing sentiment that there'll be a legalization of marijuana. I know that there are many viewpoints on that topic, but it is anticipated to perhaps happen in the next few sessions up in Albany. Expansion of cellular and broadband service is while preserving local authority. That relates to 5G rollout in many cases. For the folks at home, if you don't already know from previous meetings, I've been working with our cable provider to try and close up voids in their coverage area. And we've been able to identify certain very small sections of town that are not included. And we'll be doing a mailing to you to identify whether or not you have some interest so we can prioritize for the cable company where to try and close those holes. And in part because we know how important it is during COVID for you to have all the available internet options at your disposal. So you'll be receiving a mailing from us. We'll ask you for your input and to let us know if that's something you are interested in. There's advocacy for property tax exemptions, funding for local roads, bridges, and highway operations. There's the thought that with the new administration, there may come some changes that will impact us on the local level. We have hope that perhaps for our taxpayers in particular, that the limitation on the state and local taxes may be reversed so that you don't have, in effect, double taxation. There is also some hope that there will be support for state budgets and local budgets, which would, of course, mean some stress off of us on the local level in order to provide some of those services. Police reform is a topic, obviously, that is in the news and stuff that we are working on the local level as well. And funding for COVID-19 and a committee to evaluate some of the recent criminal justice reforms. I know that's been a topic of discussion, especially pre-COVID. And I think that sort of tackles most of the issues that'll be in front of the Association of Towns. Okay, coming back to what I said would be the second item is the highway garage solar. Thank you for your patience. We'll get to this. This is a resolution. It actually would be number 3. Is that correct, Deanna? If we're looking at the resolution for the Association of Towns as number 2. Do we have you on mute, Deanna?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
resolution number 3. Okay. It's authorizing a contract award for the highway garage rooftop solar system project. We issued a notice of public bids on December 11th. We did receive several bids. We had those bids reviewed by our engineering firm. You have in your packet the correspondence related to that. We have tabulated those bids and reviewed them for completeness and compliance with the request. After the review of the bids by the engineers, the recommendation is to award to Suncommon in the amount of $151,191 for the project. And again, as a reminder, part of this project is being funded by award monies that we received a few years ago for all the clean energy projects that we've done. Resolution number 3, and I so move. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Christine was in there next. Without further discussion, all in favor, Bill O'Neill.
Aye.
Okay, Bill Hamill.
Aye.
Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Very good. Okay. We have a resolution also to execute agreements for engineering services, and we have endeavored to identify not only one but at least a couple of firms to help us. Some firms, as we have done in the past, have particular expertise in areas, and this year we've identified the need to potentially update our road specifications and to get some expertise with other transportation matters. We have reviewed the submissions by the several firms, and so we would like to make a recommendation that 2 firms be appointed at this time, and that would be Ty and Bond and Creighton Manning. And this would be resolution number 4, dated January 12th. And is there a second for this resolution?
Second.
Thank you, Christine. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, Bill Hamill.
Aye.
Bill O'Neill.
Aye.
Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. A discussion and approval of the 284 agreement to expend funds. We received correspondence from our highway superintendent, Teresa Burke, along with a couple of options that she recommends we consider. As we mentioned earlier, we don't know how much funding we will have coming down from the state for the CHIPS program and other state-supported road improvements. And so at this time, we're going to entertain resolution number 5 for a limited amount of money in a 284 agreement. It would have 2 projects, and that would be to chip seal and do work on Hageman Hill Road and Rokeby Road. And that is not to exceed $58,000. And this resolution, let me scroll through that for you. Apologies to the folks at home as we get there. Okay, so we have a couple of recommendations. Here we go. And here is the description of the work. Hateman Hill Road to 199 and Rokeby Road leading to River Road, 2.3 miles to chip seal it to extend the life of the road.
Robert, do you want to be sharing your screen?
There we go. Thank you, Jacob.
It's still not happening yet. I don't
Not
think.
yet. We'll get there.
Okay, gotcha. Beautiful.
It should be up now. Very good. Okay. Is there a second for the motion to approve the 284 as outlined?
Second,
Thank you, Bill O'Neill. All in favor, Christine Kane,
Aye.
Jacob Testa,
Aye.
Bill Hamill.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We'll execute a couple copies of that and get that off to our highway superintendent. Okay, we have our sixth resolution tonight, which is a resolution to approve an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Tivoli Building Department. As folks know, we did in fact do these functions for the Village of Tivoli. I think now what's different is this is just sort of a temporary arrangement. The Village of Tivoli has needed some of our services again, and so we'd like to accommodate that. We also will need to have additional staffing in that department. So this is resolution number 6. Is that correct, Deanna?
Yes.
Okay. And I think it's self-explanatory what that's for. Is there a second on the resolution?
Second.
Okay, that's Bill Hamill. All in favor, Jacob Testa,
Aye.
Christine Kane,
Aye.
and Bill O'Neill.
aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, terrific. Well, for the folks at home, this concludes the main portion of tonight's meeting. At this time, we're going to go into an executive session, to discuss matters under litigation. They are tax matters when property owners protest their taxes. So we're reviewing one or two of those instances in executive session. And then we may come back out if we do take some action on whether or not to approve a proposed agreement. And so if you would like to hang on, you are, of course, welcome to do so. At this time, what's going to happen is we are going to, all of us, we're going to mute our screen.
Can you take that exhibit off the screen there, Robert, first?
I will.
Okay.
Very good. And so
Bill, you have to shut your screen off too. Bill O'Neill.
I don't see Bill O'Neill back yet.
I forwarded the email to him. I don't know if he's refreshed or that'd be, but he has the link still.
Okay. He did say earlier that, if something went wrong, we can just go ahead without him. Chris Shull, you're there.
I am here.
I'm wondering if you might fashion, do you think we should do a resolution for tradition?
No, I think we're gonna, we will, can I have a motion to authorize council to pursue the course of action discussed?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And then we'll wait for formal proceedings to take an action.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. I don't see Bill O'Neill. Being a betting man, I'm gonna say that he's not gonna make it back in. I'm gonna go ahead and get started, however, if you all are. Okay, very good, folks. We're returning now. I'd like to reopen the town board meeting of January 12th, 2021. We've exited executive session. We've deliberated on some tax matters, and we have in front of us a proposed resolution number 7 of, it says 2020, but actually it's 2021. So if you would make those edits, please, on your drafts there. It's a resolution authorizing the settlement of Article 7 proceedings with the Chocolate Factory at Red Hook LLC. And you can read the resolution in its entirety on the website. And I so move. Is there a second?
Second.
That's Bill Hamill. Bill O'Neill is not with us. He has left the meeting. Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Christine Kane.
Aye.
Okay. Yeah. In addition to that, I'd like to make a motion that we guide our council to go ahead and proceed with the tax matters involving tradition in the manner as discussed within our executive session. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Thank you, Christine. If there's no further discussion, Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Bill Hamill.
Aye.
Okay. Very good. That concludes all of our business for this evening. And I would like to say to all of you at home, thank you very much for joining us. We wish you health, happiness, and peace as we go forward in 2021. Thanks.